This is the only state thing. In federal, when they tell you you don't do it, it's bye. No ifs, ands, or buts, man. And I was scared. And I was just literally trying to buy time to pay this whole freak off. That's it. There's the whole thing off.
Can I have parties announced for the record?
Arlene Gay for the defendant.
Right, and are you Mr. Foss? All right, you entered a plea of true to violations 2 and 4 on February 6th. The court found that there was sufficient evidence to find it true. The court found it true. And so we're here today for witnesses to be presented.
We do have a witness.
All right, and state, do you have any witnesses? All right, defense, you may call your witness.
The defense calls Priscilla Garza. Garza. He is in the courtroom.
Mr. Fox, put your back against the counter over here.
Miss Garza, how do you know Michael?
He's my fiance.
And where do you live? Do you live here in San Antonio?
Yes, ma'am.
And who do you live with?
And I'm only staying with my mom.
Who lives with you?
Me, my mom, and my two stepsons.
So you have two stepsons?
Yeah.
And do you and Michael have any children together, biological?
No, ma'am.
And just what are their ages?
One's 12 and the other one's 8.
And you are the kids were staying with you. Was that due to Michael not being able to live in the home with you and the children?
Yes, ma'am.
And
He wasn't able to stay there.
and is it your understanding that that was a court order when he was sentenced? And you are caring for his children, and do you plan to get married? Do you have a date or?
No, right now I just got the paper for him to sign because he's not able to be there, not be an absent affidavit.
Like a marriage by proxy, or is that what you're talking about? Like getting married without him being present?
Or if it's possible, yeah.
Yeah, just in case whatever the court rules today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And are you asking the judge to continue him on his deferred?
Yes, actually, I am.
And was he a good provider to you and his children?
Yes, he was.
And
He's the only provider. Because I gotta stay at home and make sure the kids are okay and make sure they go to school. He's the only one.
and is there anything else that you want the judge to know that you've not already told them?
No. Because I know that his boy's missing and they want him home.
And his children are present, but not in the courtroom. Is that correct? I'll pass the witness.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. What was that?
Priscilla Garza.
Priscilla Garza. Okay, and so how long have you been in a relationship with the defendant?
9 years.
9 years?
Yes, ma'am.
So you all were in a relationship with each other when this actual deadly weapon occurred?
Yes.
Okay. And so then you all were also in a relationship when he was placed on probation in April of 2025, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And when he was granted probation, originally, were you aware that he had a condition of an electronic leg monitoring device?
When he was staying at his grandparents, yes.
Okay. And then at some point that GPS device was removed. Are you aware of that?
Yes, his probation officer asked for it to be removed.
Okay. And then after it was removed, were you aware that the probation department never heard from him again? Okay. Was he living with you?
No, he wasn't allowed to stay with me and the boys.
Okay. So where was he living?
But the address at 318 Los Angeles.
Okay. And who else lives at 318 Los Angeles?
His grandfather and his uncle.
And were you aware that the probation office made multiple field visits to that location? And the people that lived there said that the defendant was no longer living there?
I'm gonna object to hearsay.
Right, that'll be sustained.
Okay. Were you aware that the probation office made multiple field visits to that location?
Your Honor, the fact's not in evidence at this time.
All right, that'll
We're
be,
gonna
over-
object and also
that'll
the
be-
hearsay.
that will be overruled.
Were you aware that the probation office made multiple field visits to that location?
No.
And were you aware that the probation office was unable to contact them there at that location?
Well, I
Same
know he
objection.
works,
All
Also,
right, that'll be overruled.
well, I know most of the time when they did go, he was at work. Cause he did work, cause that was one of his conditions on his probation.
Where was he working?
He was working for a payment company.
Okay. And so I guess you were unable to have contact with him as a condition of probation or just?
He would just call and he'll visit the boys, but I know he was supposed to be under supervision to visit the boys, but he never, sometimes he did, but I was there, but sometimes he didn't, because he always worked. He, like I said, he's the main provider for me and his boys. So
And
he's always working.
so correct me if I'm wrong, but the children, they're his biological children, but you're just taking care of them, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that he's the only provider, so you don't have employment.
I don't have employment.
Okay. And so if you're asking this court for him to stay on and he has not been reporting, like, what facts are you relying on to ask the court to continue with him?
Well, the fact is, y'all are asking him to work. So if he's supposed to work and he's not supposed to be there at the house when they go do a field visit or whatever, how is that supposed to even be possible? Because sometimes they do pop-ups and he's at work.
Okay, well, that's why there are multiple conditions in place. So are you aware that he was also supposed to report to the probation office?
And he would,
And a violation that he's pled true to is that he was not reporting.
before, when he first got on it, he was reporting.
When
After
he
that,
had the ankle monitor on, correct?
no,
Yes. And once the ankle monitor was removed, he pled true to not reporting to probation.
okay, well, I'm not aware of that because he wasn't staying with me.
Okay, and so you're asking this court, even though you have no facts in how he's performed on probation, you're coming up here and asking this court to continue.
Or he does have two kids that he needs to help me take care of.
Okay.
There's two boys. You try raising two boys on your own. When I'm not the biological mom, I'm the stepmom.
Alright. Don't you think the appropriate time for him to think of his two children was when he was stabbing someone, not when he's on probation?
Can I please leave?
no, dear, you cannot. Your Honor, I believe that that's a harassing question.
Is there a legal objection?
And yes, Your Honor, that it's not relevant or material, and it is harassing
With
the
regards
witness.
to relevancy, the court will sustain the objection.
That's the witness, so.
All right, any further questions?
No further
All right,
questions.
thank you so much for coming in. Call your next witness.
I'll call my client.
Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Absolutely.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
Michael Anthony Foss.
All right, defense, you may proceed.
Mr. Foz, before you were putting Dawn deferred, you got custody of your children, correct?
Long before,
About a year before,
way more.
2 years before?
than that.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so, your mother of your children had custody, and then CPS got involved, and then you,
I object to leaving.
Sustained.
so, tell me how you got custody of your children.
I got custody of my children, fighting for them for about 8 months. While I was doing federal probation, federal classes, at the same time doing state classes and state UAs, I believe is what they said. And they were coexisting with my federal PO at the same time. And I found, and then the judge who, I believe, I don't know the proper name, for the kids, I guess for CPS, that judge at that time in CPS, the state found fit after all my certificates while I was wrestling with federal probations and state agencies at the same time, while working a full-time job, supporting my kids. That they found that I was fit to be the father, and they found fit to terminate the rights of their biological mother.
And, So you have custody, you have your fiancée, and how many households were you supporting after you got on this deferred in April of 2025?
Okay, when I moved in with my grandparents and my uncle, my grandfather's house, I'm sorry, my grandmother passed away. When I moved there, of course, I'm not gonna take advantage of my family, so I'm paying rent there. About $450, $500 a month. I'm still supporting my case because I was one of the stipulations, support to dependents. So I'm paying about $300, $400 there for them. Then I'm paying my cell phone bill. Then I'm paying UAs when I go take the test. I gotta pay for the parenting class, $85 off the rip.
Mhm.
I did 5 out of 10 classes, hostility classes. The only reason I didn't do the other 5, man, I really tried to knock it out. The only reason I couldn't do the other 5 is because the other 5, they wanted to do them as a one-on-one, I believe it was. And he said he was gonna call me. But I told him I had to go to work because all these places, and that's not including my food that I was eating on the day.
Right, so here's the thing. The state recommended that you have deferred. What I want to know is you pled true to violation of condition number 2. So I wanted to know why you missed drug testing. You pled true to violation for condition number 4. So I want to know why you missed reporting.
Simple fact, miss. I wasn't paying my restitution, what did it call, constitute, the $4,000 that I had to pay.
Mhm.
I'm paying $2,000 when I filed my taxes, and I told Mr.
But what does that mean about the not taking UAs? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why were you not taking your UAs?
When I stopped reporting, ma'am, I didn't go take the UAs run. Because I was afraid that I was gonna get arrested, because he was getting on my butt about.
Okay, do I not tell everybody if there's an issue with probation? If you have an issue, let probation know about it, and if they're not addressing it, you can come and address it with the court.
See, yes, ma'am, and
So why didn't you do that?
my assuming, it's plain and simple, my stupidity, assuming, ma'am, I'm not gonna make an excuse. I assume, because it's never been, this is the only state thing. In federal, when they tell you you don't do it, it's bye. No ifs, ands, or buts, man. And I was scared. And I was just literally trying to buy time to pay this whole freak off. That's it. There's the whole thing off. You know what I mean? I was working, everything, and I did report after the monitor was off. I did do several UAs after the monitor was off.
And so when was the monitor taken off?
Even that gentleman,
No, when was the monitor removed? Does anyone know?
I can tell that, I really don't know, man.
Defense, do you know when the GPS monitor was removed?
I thought it was, it's either August or September.
State, do you know when it was removed? All right, probation, do you,
July 9th.
okay, July 9th? So when it was removed in July 9th, were there any missed appointments, or is the first missed appointment in October? Does anyone know the answer?
Did UA in September 2025 and got UA was negative.
The last UA was on 9/19/2025, and it was negative.
So it appears that something happened October and November. So does anyone know what happened with him for October?
Your Honor, I think he was trying to explain that when he would go in, his officer was, according to him, putting pressure on him to pay these fees. And, you know, my client is a very verbal person, and, you know, I think there was not a meeting of the minds that this court would never revoke somebody for monies. We don't have debtor's prison, but he was getting pressure that he had to pay this money, and he's supporting 2 households in at this time, and he is working. And I want to talk a little bit about work, because he had when one job would stop, he would get another one in between. He's a painter, so if they didn't have a house to paint, he would go and he worked with another person to be working this entire time to support his children and to support these two households. And he does not get subsidy from CPS case. He is the biological dad. He did get custody of his father. And Your Honor, I did go back and look at the sentencing on YouTube, and I couldn't hear everything because I think there was an audio problem. But I think the court had concerns of why he couldn't live with his children. And the concerns were the nature of the offense, and the court wanted to make sure he was not gang affiliated. Those were the two things that the court expressed, say, hey, but we can change that. And you did say that. And according to my client, he is not gang affiliated. They did the gang referral of the gang process.
So you're telling me with the tattoo that he has on the top of his head, that's not gang related? Nobody loves San Antonio that much. I mean, I think San Antonio is a great place to stay, obviously, because I'm here, but usually those are gang affiliations.
But did you do your gang evaluation?
Yes, I did. Yes, ma'am. You ordered it under custody, as a matter of fact.
He had to, and that was correct. He had to stay in custody to do his TAP evaluation, and they were going to do the gang affiliation or
Gang affiliation completed?
Check it out. Yeah, they determined there was no affiliation.
That's shocking.
Mhm. And he did whisper to me that he is in,
They do custody.
so he's not with the gang, with any type of gang in the jail.
All right, state, what are you requesting? All right. This is what the court is going to do. I'm going to give you two choices. There are no other choices. These are your only choices. Do you understand?
Understood.
All right. One, I do note that the state was, not this prosecutor, but the previous prosecutor asked for 4 years deferred. So the court placed you on 5 years deferred adjudication based upon my review of everything. So one, I will revoke you, sentence you to 2 years in the prison. Or two, I'll continue you and you're going to be on GPS until further notice, and it'll be GPS for employment only. Which do you prefer?
Can we step back, Your Honor?
Mhm.
Yes. Thank you, Your Honor.
What unfolded inside this San Antonio courtroom was more than a probation violation hearing. It was a collision between personal responsibility, family survival, and the unforgiving structure of the justice system. Michael Fox had been granted 5 years of deferred adjudication, a second chance that many defendants never receive. He'd fought hard to gain custody of his 2 young boys, completed court-ordered programs while juggling federal and state supervision simultaneously, and worked nonstop as a painter to support 2 households on a single income. By every measure of intent, he was trying, but intent and compliance are 2 very different things. Once his ankle monitor was removed in July, the reporting stopped, the drug tests stopped, the probation office kept showing up, and Michael Fox kept not being there. And he admitted it himself. Fear, financial pressure, and what he called plain stupidity led him to go silent instead of speaking up. Judge Boyd had heard enough. She wasn't interested in excuses, she was interested in choices, and she gave him exactly 2. 2 years in Texas prison, or remain on deferred adjudication with GPS monitoring for employment only, indefinitely. No middle ground, no negotiation, just a stark ultimatum delivered from the bench. It's a moment that reminds us what probation really is. Not freedom, but a contract. And when you stop holding up your end, the court has every right to hold up theirs. 2 boys are waiting for their father to come home. Whether he does, and how, now depends on a decision made in a brief courtroom recess. If you found this case as eye-opening as we did, hit that like button. To drop your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more real courtroom breakdowns, because justice never gets old.